everyone, welcome back to BIMAGE Cafe. Now for this episode, forgetting we're already on 04 episode. Okay? 4th episode everyone, welcome back. So this is me, myself, I am Syafiq. Or my glamour name or my famous name is Abe. Okay, so mostly people know me as Abe. Alright. Happy to see you all come back for today. Maybe for this episode. See, this is how I mix it up. Okay, blabbering. Alright, so guess what? What is the topic for today? Okay, we'll be covering up on the cloud, Autodesk Construction Cloud. Okay, on how the AI will be implementing within our construction projects, and also, guess what? Smart building. Okay, so for this extraordinary and bombastic topics for today will be covered, right? So, 0 seat over here, still kosong.
Try 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Okay, so guess what? We have a big name guy over here, right? So, representing to you, here he is, okay? Ever you know? Who don't know? I know, I just know today. Alright, so welcome here, Mr. Liew Zi Qing. Okay,
thank you, Syafiq. Yeah.
So he is Mr. Zi Qing. Today is it's quite a big name in the construction industry now. So here, Mr. Zi Qing. I can introduce you. If I say myself who he is, I also don't know that. Let he speak for himself. Who are you?
Who are you?
Okay, thank you, Syafiq. I think I cannot match the enthusiasm Syafiq has. But hi, I'm Zi Qing. So basically, I'm the head of digitalization for Sunway Property. But generally, I work in Sunway. I used to take care of Sunway Construction's digital portfolio as well. So I kind of know a little bit about Autodesk Construction Cloud because we're actively using it. But at the same time, I think generally we also like to share a bit about the trend for the construction industry in Malaysia, and also how the future will look like with AI. I think that will be something very interesting.
AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, everyone is looking at that keyword, right?
Okay. So AI, a very bombastic word now.
It is.
Maybe one question for you. Do you afraid of AI?
I think I won't be afraid of AI. I think it opens up a lot of exciting opportunities, a lot of exciting automation. You used to have site not enough people, not enough admins to work on a very boring tasks, right? So now with AI, I think a lot of these things can go away, hopefully in the near future. But it also opens up a lot of possibility for us to really upskill ourselves, because chances are some of the very, very boring tasks that we used to repeat might go missing soon, right? Yeah. So that's why, I mean, for people, audiences that now they are actually doing, clerical work, I think it's really time to pick up new skills now. Yeah.
I see, understood. Yeah. So you're not afraid of that, huh?
Definitely not afraid of it. So embrace it.
Embrace it!
It will have to come.
Just be the boss of that.
We can't own it.
So now you're busy with your construction projects now?
There's plenty of projects going on in Sunway. I think generally we are very active in the space of retail, in the space of shopping malls. We are conglomerate, so we do everything, right? So from university building to shopping malls to high rises of offices and also residential. I just have to declare today, I'm more like a casual person. I would just speak on behalf of a lot of construction generalists who at the same time very hopeful that technology can solve a lot of our problems. But at the same time, we also are very fed up with some of the situation at site. So I just want to be a bit more general here, not representing any party.
I am my own man.
Per se, right? Just an opinion.
Heard it, everyone, right? So based on what Zi Qing just told us, right? Okay. It's our motto also, BIMAGE Consulting motto. Let the technology works for you. Okay. And that is the thing that we want to look at today. Okay.
Yep.
So our technology will work for us, right? But okay. Before on that, I just want to know how did you, how can you reach on this level now?
Oh, okay.
What's your journey? I mean, when you start, how can it trigger you to become Zi Qing now.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, it's a long story. I think Syafiq, you should share yours later if you have not shared in previous podcasts. I just heard from him just now that it was interesting. Anyway, for me, it's less of spicy. I was trained as a civil engineer in UK, so I got a master's degree. But originally, I was at site. I was really being the operation guy, you know, really looking at site work, making sure subcontractor does what they do, right? But one fine day, you know, I also have another side passion of myself, which is coding, which is I like to build stuff both physically and virtually. Put it that way.
Look at you, coding.
Coding, really doing coding, you know, like Python, you know, all these things, right? So I mean, that's my second passion. So when I was choosing engineering, I was also contemplating between the two. In fact, I can share with you my funny story. Is my final year project. I also did a simulation on flood and all this. So it's a bit server related simulation on computer, on super PC. So there's a lot of coding going on aside from being a site guy or a server guy, right? So that's how I got into VDC. Because of my passion of coding, and one day my project director told me, "Hey, I needed you to, you know, go and automate and solve a big problem at site."
We got a big problem. We got a big.
So that's how I gotten into VDC, into digital for construction. That was about 6 years ago, right? Then slowly I realized there's a lot of potential. In fact, that was when in between the 5-6 years of time. We have Revit, you know. I mean, of course, Revit is a mature technology, but facility management is new. Especially using 3D Revit to do facility management is very, very new. That's why I was tasked, the very first problem I got tasked was to actually make Revit or make 3D models facility management ready. Number two is, of course, subsequently, you have chatbots coming up, you have AI coming up, you have ACC being born in 2019. So actually all these things happened within a short span of 3-4 years, right? So it kept me super busy. So I mean, I grew my team. I also slowly started to also pitch the idea to the management, right? To say, hey, this is what we should go forward with, right? So that's how I eventually became where I am now, heading a department. But the whole idea here is the whole short span of time is where the born of technology, right? Now with AI coming in, it keeps me even busier because all the bosses keep asking me, you know, how can we cut down more manpower? How can we, you know, make it more?
I want
more active, right? More fast, right? When it comes to the response. That's why the whole idea here is actually digital world for construction and also for facility management, for property generally. It's actually it's an industry that I still see potential growth by a bunch. So, I mean, for people who are keen, you know, feel free to study in that field, right? I felt that there's a lot of potential here. Yeah.
So, what you can say over here that you start from civil engineering.
Correct.
And then you're interested, your passion also in coding.
Yes.
And then once you come into the VDC, like everything is mixed up together.
Correct, because it's the best of both worlds, right? You have 3D modeling, you have Revit, and you also have automation going on, right? At the same time, you also know FM is such a poorly, you know, in Malaysia, FM world is still not very digitalized. There's still a lot of legacy system. So that's where we envision to be a way better future, right? With gaming engine coming in, 3D. So very, very exciting, I must say. Yeah.
It's just like we use, when we apply for jobs and then, I need to get a job. It's just a job. And then you do a job and you get a job, you just work. And then something coming in like, it's like your lifetime passion coming, you know. The coding is coming. I'm doing the work and my passion also coming. Like, is it very like...
Yeah, to me, I think I'm lucky. I think I'm lucky, but I guess
you get what I mean?
A lot of people could be lucky too, right? So long, you know, grab the opportunity. Right? It comes along the way. Yeah. But that's where I am now. Happy to be here.
It's great to know that. Civil engineer. That also for me, when we do the drawings or something for the information, like you said, it's just like when we see the visualization, how it can be after we create the design, it feels like some of satisfaction.
Yep. Like an architect, you know, you see things born out, your vision comes through, right? I think quite similar.
I see.
Yeah.
So throughout your project, So how do you implement the Autodesk Construction Cloud within your projects? How do you see that helps you?
Okay. I share a bit of background how actually in terms of CD, I call it Common Data Environment. It has been a technology for a while, and in fact, there are plenty of platforms available before Autodesk Construction Cloud, right? So it's not to say there's only one platform available, but the whole idea here is in construction you have a lot of processes, and as a contractor, the important thing about your work process is to make sure all the documents are documented down properly, all the correspondence are kept properly, right? You won't, even though maybe, especially with such a lean team and nowadays people come and go, right?
People come and go.
You will still want people and ex-staff that left, right? Their correspondence still recorded in your system. Because if eventually there's any contractual claims that comes about, you want evidences. You want to protect the company perspective, right? So that's how any common data environment will be powerful. Now, comes to what kind of technology most people will be using, right?
Yeah.
I think the common Malaysia standard is, we can do a 2 gigabyte transfer of file via transfer, right? Drop it in, send the link, get it down.
Transfer
but for smaller files, WhatsApp je lah, I WhatsApp you, you WhatsApp me, simple. But unfortunately, all these files are not actually kept in WhatsApp. Right? You have to download a copy. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys will have faced an issue when you use WhatsApp and maybe 5 months later you want to download like
around,
Yeah, that's number one. Number two is a lot of the attachment that used to be in the conversation could no longer be downloaded because it's then WhatsApp keep asking you to please ask the originator to send you the files again, right? Because they are actually not meant to be keeping files for you, right? Those are just a communication tool. Now, the biggest challenge with contractor and also the world and with pen contract, which is what Malaysia holds currently, is that we actually needed to make sure all these correspondences are all written down properly, are kept properly, right? So on any email chains, communication chains, official written notices has to be kept and has to be properly documented.
Yes.
So so that's why in the earlier days I see a lot of companies that are really trying to do it in-house. That means you either use a SharePoint, modify the SharePoint, or you use some kind of very simple Google Drive or a single environment to just keep the files in. I think that is sufficient, provided that your project is not very complicated, right? It's basically 2D, you have and you just need a simple mailbox and all these things. But the moment when you go out and you need approval workflows that are quite complex, you involve multiple consultants, you have subcontractors to managers, you have claims to manage, right? You also have so many moving parts, right? Even within your organization, your project team, you already have different roles, right? That one account would no longer be sufficient, right? You outgrown your account and you find difficulties in keeping track of all the moving parts, right? Worst case is one day, someone with an admin right suddenly go and turn off everything, right? And then everything is gone. So that's why it slowly exposed the organization into that kind of risk. And so it's almost impossible for us to really work on that kind of environment anymore. So that's why we decided to really outsource to someone like a software platform that is able to manage that for us. So a lot of options around, but somewhat because Malaysia in particular, the construction industry is still very relevant when it comes to Revit. When it comes to using BIM, a lot of the software that we talk about is all Revit, it's all Navisworks, it's all Autodesk ecosystem software and products. So that's why with Autodesk Construction Cloud, it's a lot easier for us to keep Revit files and also visualize Revit files within the ecosystem. In fact, you can even tag issues within the ecosystem. So you don't have to have a Revit license, to open Revit files and visualize it. It's all on the web browser. So that's something we really like. So after really deep assessment and all these things, technically we have already chosen this platform to continue the construction cloud and also the CDE journey with us. So I think there's a lot of similarities with other platforms as well, but the important thing for everyone folks here that is listening, it's important to really understand what your organization needs is before you jump into one, because otherwise you could have spent a lot more for something that might not really help your organization.
You hear that, everyone? You hear that when you say it, right? just take note what Zi Qing just said. Okay, normally, it will helps you on how we manage the files.
Correct,
right?
correct.
So what I used to tell I used to teach people, right? When I used to tell them, like, in our CDE itself, it's different to our conventional ways, okay? All of those files and the data is scattered around, or you have one, right? So if we work with the one CDE, everyone just go inside a library and you have everything. Okay? All the data, all the management information, everything is within a library. It's like always say to the people, one CDE, one library for one single project. You can have everything inside there. Okay, even your approval, even with your costing also, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Costing as
See all the people?
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's why I say we also have BIM University also have this movement. We call it as CAD to BIM. Yeah? We convert all of those CAD users to BIM. Right. It's not that challenge. I mean, we have a phase similar like several challenges. Right? People say. The data, we also all good. But once we show them the CDE and how you need to transform and implement the digitalization within the company, okay, you can see on how secure your data and how secure your project is. Stick in within the single line, right? Everyone is involved with the single line. With the single information, everyone is getting the same data. Rather than we email to everyone, like we put a lot of names and then CC and then boom, gone. Email is gone. And once if the people doesn't come back, the email will stop there.
A lot of unfortunate cases of information loss because of not very good practices and also not very good tools. That's why I think importantly is to get a good tool so that you can monitor everything. But I also like to echo the fact that you mentioned something about CAD to BIM. I think the construction industry at the moment with Anwar's new announcement that all project has to be BIM. Of course, it has been going on for the longest time, right? We all heard this. I don't know, for years, right? But we do see that the owners nowadays, the private sectors and the government sectors are both slowly embracing BIM as the tool for simple drafting as well. So I think it's a good progress. In fact, uni students are now trained with basic Revit skills. I think those are very, very positive signs of industry moving forward, because you have the skill sets, there's people with the skill sets to come into the industry. What I really wanted to emphasize is what you said just now was from all the lines that it doesn't have any meanings. Drawings in 2D CAD, right, doesn't have a lot of meanings in it, right? But the moment when you put it into 3D, it's all objects, right? Every single object has meanings, has attributes to it. That object itself, let's say a CCTV camera, I know the manufacturer. I can also trace back where the manufacturing is, the O&M. So it also helps with facility management. This is where I generally feel with a good software and also a good use of software, it will actually push the use case far beyond construction. Because the building life cycle construction is only like 10% out of the whole 100% of from planning to maintenance to demolition, right? So if you were there to take a look, right, it's not just the contractor who should hold the responsibility of modeling. Actually, it's everyone, including the owner. So I generally, it's just something I echoed a lot stronger because I'm from a property sector now, and I really felt that is something we should push more in the industry forward.
Push!
So one more thing before we push to the next one. You just told me that you are from property, right? So how do you see this BIM helps you with the property? I mean, how it helps
owner side, owner side.
In terms of owner side,
correct, or developer side. I mean, when I say property, I don't sell property. I'm not an agent. So generally from a developer perspective, or someone who either develops it to sell or develops it to maintain, like a mall, like a shopping mall. You rent it out, right? You don't sell your shopping malls, right? So I think the perspective is quite interesting in the sense that because I came from construction, so I got exposed to BIM from construction to start with.
Okay.
But then the very first project that I got involved in is actually using BIM for facility management.
Oh.
Yes, in one of the government projects. So it's very interesting because at that time government wanted to push for BIM for facility management, and they managed to implement it in one of the projects in Putrajaya. So I was one of the key members who made it happen, and that was an interesting start because
So sorry to cut you in. So you're one of the key members?
yeah, I'm the key member who made it happen. No, but it all thanks to the whole team, including our clients as well. But that being said, with that direction, it's that's why I always want to stress that if owners or the developers have the intention to capture the information in the BIM, right, then BIM could have been done very differently from the start. Right, because otherwise it's no longer just for coordination purposes, right? So, but anyway, I mean, from my perspective, I always stress that there are two things that I value in BIM. Number one is still coordination. I think you can't run away that why some complex projects needed BIM to start with, right? You would need to have it because number one, the project is complex, that a lot of geometry is complex.
Yeah.
I mean, one good example that I don't want to name any projects in Malaysia because because they are all my competitors. Right? But if projects overseas like Changi Airport, right? The waterfall, the jewel Changi, right? You see the steel manufacturing that's happening on the stock. And imagine all the complex steel structures, right? You can't really do it in traditional 2D. You just have to model it and then send it to factory to fabricate it. There's no way you can match the detail from 2D. You can't even draw the bands and all these things from the 2D perspective, right? So the best way is to actually illustrate it from a 3D perspective. Now,
once we do the 3D and then we run the analysis.
You run the analysis, at the same time, you can also send it for manufacturing.
Can do it in CAD?
Yes. You can do it in CAD, but it will be way more complex, right?
Way more complex.
And you still have to do it in 3D anyway, and you have a lot of mistakes to make, right? And if you send the whole thing wrong, you know, and you just bend it slightly wrongly, you can't quite see it in the 2D, right? Then you send it to the wrong you send it wrong to the manufacturer, you got that wrong, you can't join that, full stop, right?
Yeah.
You have to refabricate the whole thing.
Refabricate.
Yes, correct. So 3D actually helps to do very complex coordination. Now, projects nowadays are more and more complex. That one is again a given, especially high rises, right? Even condominiums that are like 50-story stores, like 40-story stores, right? You have so many facilities in the deck. Imagine, you know, especially in the now, people are looking at pickleball court, you know, tennis court, swimming pools, lazy river, you know, all these features packed in like a very small acreage of land that is living on top of your car park, right? How would that happen, right? So obviously there's a lot of piping going on. There's a lot of, and nowadays we are, as someone who is quite smart, you know, when you buy homes, you also are very conscious that that water shouldn't leak, you know, so all this design thinking has to come in. So the gutter, the rooftop guttering system cannot be on top of someone's unit or bedroom in particular, because if it leaks, another bedroom, right?
For sure.
So that's why slowly this becomes standards, and this will actually impose more and more restriction to architects to when it comes to building new things, right? And so when it comes to visualizing all these things into one go with all the BOMBA requirements and more stringent requirements coming in, you realize that actually you cannot run away with BIM already. That's why even when I'm property developer perspective, I will mandate my team members for those complex projects, right, to actually go through pre-tender BIM coordination workshops, pre-tender, even before main contractor comes in, right? So all these things will have been coordinated, 70%, at least 70% coordinated, right? That's what I'm looking for. 70% coordinated, and main contractor, when they receive the tender drawings, right, it makes sense. Less VO, less RFIs, you know, less issues when it comes to doing it, and suddenly boom, you know, I have a gutter right below my bedroom, you know, and the developer say change it. It's a VO.
That's real. Like people always say that, oh, BIM is perfect. When you implement BIM, everything perfect. What I always tell to them, right? Like, you cannot assume that everything is perfect in all of sort of things like CAD and BIM also.
Not everything was perfect.
Right? Everything has their own like defects. Okay, like you said, everything is less. Yes, in BIM itself, for sure, it will help you to reduce everything. Reduce everything. For sure, it helps you reduce everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Cost. This is the most important one. I don't want to say the other, but that is the most important one. Everything for sure will be reduced.
Yes. Speed as well, actually.
Speed
is the faster with BIM. Although you might have upfront speed issues, that means when you produce drawing with BIM, it's getting a little bit more complicated because you really. So the funny part about BIM is I always like to say this: BIM causes problems that used to be downstream to be surfaced upwards. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? In most cases, it's actually a good thing because you have to think through some of these problems prior to this becomes other people's problem.
Yes.
Right? So it's in a sense, I still feel that BIM is still a very good tool, but you can't just implement BIM without all these practices going on, like coordination. Actually, that's why the very first thing that I really enjoy and I really wanted BIM to happen is still for coordination because that's the more matured one. People in the market are now generally understand that BIM for coordination is a better tools overall. The only thing now is about picking up the skill set and speed to model it fast, right? Which is what AI could come in to help. That's another topic of the day. But my second general things about BIM is I actually felt that VDC and BIM are very good tools for facility management and also the start of a digital twin. And that's why we always wanted to put BIM side by side as an upstream for a digital twin product, which after that we can take it on to do simulations. Those are more for to really cut down your long-term costs for managing and for running facilities. I think that would be another very good angle to talk about in BIM.
Because everything is, at the end of the day, people will see is on how we manage the buildings.
Correct.
How we manage the facilities.
Correct.
So that's going to be good.
Yes, built with technology. So I think that's the exciting part about FM that a lot of people are still not aware. That's something that I'm quite passionate about working on it.
So talking about BIM, we know that for sure for these days, for these nowadays, AI is developing and that's spreading around. Even for helping within our management. Okay. What I know also, ACC also have AI with it, right? It helps you on the dashboard thing and stuff, right? So how do you see this AI will help you later on for this construction?
Construction and facility management, actually AI can help in any angle. So even simple stuff like you go to ChatGPT to ask you to draft a legal or a very formal letter to your contractor, or you can do that. I mean, in fact, the words are very nicely done. They're all very legally nice.
So people doesn't know that it's from ChatGPT.
Correct. It could be a very improvised version from ChatGPT, right? So it comes from that angle, but overall, it really helps to manage knowledge. So one thing that I think Autodesk Construction Cloud is really trying to do is to implement AI in their specification tools, which is a tool that actually summarize where you deposit all the project specification, like what kind of size of beam, all these things, right? Because in European countries they use specification to manage, but in Malaysia context we always like to say these are more like a knowledge for the project. So like about what are the standards, what are the design standards for the projects, what's the requirement from the clients, right? And what is the specification? Like let's say I wanted this flooring to be this tiles, this specific color of tiles, right? You can easily ask those questions and AI will be able to synthesize, pick up the right file and then tell you that this is the answer and you can refer to this file. So instead of long gone the days where you have to sift through the folders, especially like in projects there's a lot of project filing index and everyone has a different style to file their folders. So in a common shared folder structure, you don't know where people will type the information. So you need to kind of remember the exact name or you need an exact keyword.
So the one who input the project from A to Z, he's the only one who knows.
Yeah, that was the old way, but with AI coming in, it's like you are just asking an agent that actually kind of knows everything inside to say, hey, I wanted to find out what's the floor tile specification for let's say for toilets for this
for
project, can you find me the documents and tell me what are the specs, right? It will actually immediately answer you and point you to the right path. So you can, number one, get the summary of the answer. And if you don't trust AI, which you shouldn't all the time, click on it and read it yourself, right? So you no longer need to sift through all the folders. I think that is a cool implementation of AI.
Our time is very fast.
For knowledge and for specification finding, it is. In fact, the next wave of AI that a lot of people are talking about, which I have not seen anyone doing things yet, but we have. I think AI would be in future be able to automate some of the easy modeling tasks, which makes modeling a lot easier. But again, this is something in the pipeline. We have heard. In fact, I was in Autodesk conference last year, and they have kind of shown how you can actually model 3D objects by just giving prompts, right? Like,
I forgot is it the hotel? The conference?
No. That was the Autodesk conference is in the States, in the United States. I think this is a very far advanced technology.
I see.
But I can totally see that it can be a fusion down a few years down the road, where this assistant can help you to model simple or repeat columns patterns, simple things like that. So I think the power of AI is that we are able to explore it on a lot of simple automation that used to take someone's with knowledge. Now it's about natural language. I can just write in prompts and then it will do it for me, right? So that is part of AI that I think we can look forward to. I think I'm quite excited about.
So
the knowledge one, the knowledge one is already available. It's already made available, so that one is known for everyone. But another one that the traditional AI. So AI also got a few parts. The recent boom one is the open AI, the one that you can chat, treat it like, today my mood is not good. Can you give me?
Also treat him like a friend.
Yeah, like a friend or girlfriend or whatever that you want to treat him with, right? But the whole idea here is also that in future, AI is not just that part of the large language model, we call it LLM, but there's also another part of AI that does very specific things, right? Like image recognition. We used to, before this AI things kicks in, the most hit AI that industry people used to like is, did he wear a helmet? Did she wear a helmet? Did he put up a safety vest, right? So you kind of...
It's like a sensor, that one.
Yeah, you kind of just fly a drone, I mean, some companies do that. I've seen some famous Malaysian companies doing drone flying, where they either inspect buildings or inspect workers, right? So to make sure workers are with the right attire, to come. Those are image processing. Those are also technically AI, right? It's just a different branch of AI, a bit the older AI, I call it. So that part is also being used in ACC and also some of the project management tools as well, to automatically pick up hazards, to pick up issues, right? And subsequently to also highlight certain hazards at site, right? So I think those are also another cool use of AI, right? Although those are a bit more older days, right? But it's still a valid use case. Yeah. So nowadays you happen to see a lot of sites wanted to install CCTV, either at the gate, or at one angle that points to the construction site, where this CCTV is not just a CCTV, but it comes with a platform that tells you, today weather is how much, whether it's...
Mr. A, you're not wearing helmet, please go back to your home.
Okay, it doesn't come with a speaker. Thank God it doesn't come with a speaker, but it does tells you the productivity at site, right? Is there any movement and activities at site? I mean, at least at the external side, right? What kind of machineries are there? Is the weather good or bad, right? Can they do work, right? So, and how many workers are inside, roughly, from the... So we also do carbon estimation. So what happened is, because as a responsible developer, we all wanted to make sure when we develop an area, we wanted to ensure the biodiversity. We wanted to prevent any catastrophic events, right? So one good thing about it, or another way to put it, is sometimes we also wanted to, because carbon market nowadays is a thing. So you can sell your carbon, you can sell your forest as like a carbon capture sink to the EU markets apparently. So, but regardless whether you want to sell it or not, it's good to know how carbon diverse and also how much carbon does your area capture per acre wise. So yes, you are right. So we also do fly drones to capture that. So that's another project that we do.
Oh, you do?
So
get that like a total everything you all in one, like 1,000 in one. I don't know.
no, but we do engage vendors to do it. But those are things that even Malaysian market are happening. It's happening in the Malaysian market. There are experts that are doing it. Yes, yes,
understood.
yes.
Okay. Good. So let's say now we just talk about AI.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you see this AI will help on the some kind of smart building as well?
Oh, a lot. I think
a lot.
Whatever that we talked about just now, it's part of smart building or smart township planning per se. The very first thing, township. What people usually think about, or what people usually are worried about, is when it comes to a township, it's about security. It's about security,
yes,
and in fact, a lot of manpower, actually a lot of background activities and investment has been put in to make sure a township is secure. It's not an easy task, right?
So they want to consider as smart buildings?
Yeah, of course, it's part of facility management. Making sure
the
the
security.
security.
Just like when I want to walk at the hallway or something, the light will turn on just only at me.
I mean, those are also part of the
that's also considered
smart building. Those are more for comfort of the tenants. But there's a lot of aspects to smart buildings and smart townships.
Not only on that lights now.
Correct. Lights is actually a minor part. I think one major one would be so. Let me summarize it back to the main key things that a smart township, what we try to achieve. Very first thing is to try to make sure energy saving. So that's what you are talking about. Lights is a small part. The bigger part for Malaysia economy, in particular, is aircon. Aircon. Actually, aircon is the one that burns most electricity.
Okay.
So a lot of our so-called domestic power, all the T&D goes where it goes to making sure our room is comfortable. Sometimes too cold, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes too cold, right? And sometimes, in fact, I very funnily when some of the Chinese visitor came and I was having conversation with them. One thing that they realized is why Malaysia, all the aircon, all the malls, everywhere is so cold, right? Everywhere is so cold. Why don't you just adjust it a little bit upwards? But to Malaysians, we wanted cold weather. We just wanted it to be cold inside the office, right?
It's a lifetime dream. I want to living in the cold.
Correct, because outside is just damn hot, right? It's just so hot that you want to be in a cold place. Right? But overdoing it is not good, right?
And you cold, you cannot. And extreme cold also cannot.
Correct, and you would realize, I don't know whether it's cold for some office employees, right? You realize a lot of people actually put on jackets, like because it's a bit too cold in the office, right? And actually, to that extent, sometimes it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Why wouldn't a system would be able to adjust the aircon, just by putting a thermostat in the room or a few thermostat in the room, right? And then connect it to the AHU, air handling unit, or your whatever air conditioner units that you have, like a cassette unit or whatever, so that you can adjust the temperature automatically, right? For offices, right? Or for malls, right? So that's why energy saving is one great part of smart buildings and smart townships, because that is one of the biggest electricity consumption that you will have if you look at your T&D bills, right? Now, the second part that I talked about was security. The reason why security was not in a lot of people's mind is because it's not. To you guys, it's like, I feel safe when someone is standing there, especially when you go to mall, when you go to Pokong or you go to any of the jewelry shop, there's a gunman, standing there. And, just while we are doing this podcast, recently, in some of the malls also, it got a robbery, right? So incident actually happened. And when incident happened, you wanted the response to be fast.
Yes.
You still wanted a security personnel to be in. But those are for just in case, right?
Just in case, yes.
And imagine, let's say you have 10 jewelry shops in a shopping mall. And let's say you have banks and all these things. Imagine how many people you need just to be there, to stand, to ensure that, wow, yes, you feel safe, but
and also the risk is there.
Yeah. And the investment that goes in just to make sure the place is safe is huge. It's huge.
Yes.
That's why and when it comes to owners or developers or anyone alike, actually one of the big chunk of the cost goes to making sure people feel safe in a township. And it's a big cost. I'm not joking, it's a big cost. So
making people feeling safe is a big cost.
Yes, it is a big cost.
So we want to implement the smart buildings,
Correct. It's smart response. So we call it a smart response because
Smart response.
the whole idea here is you would want to make sure you have sufficient manpower coverage. But when immediate accidents or incidents happen, right, you wanted to ensure the nearest team get notified immediately, automatically, get sent to the location to address that issue quickly. Because that's also what you don't want. You either don't want too many manpowers lying around just to man certain areas. At the same time, you also don't want your response to be late, right? You wanted to strike a balance. So how, right? So this is why just now in construction context, we talk about a camera that talks about, monitoring activity aside. Now, when we translate to facility management, it's all about CCTV, right? It's about linking up CCTV and also ensuring robust systems like visitor management, ensure all the systems are in place, processes in place, and also AI in place, right? To actually get all the responses as quickly as possible, and at the same time you achieve your efficiency when it comes to manpower.
I see, understood. So for your saying that more on the response, let's say I give you a bomba in your box, right? When one of the smoke detectors is triggered, and then the sensors inside the box will come up blinking something, right? And is it considered for the smart building, the blinking part will be sent directly to the bomba?
Actually, I mean, it is considered a requirement already. It's no longer a smart building requirement. In fact, nowadays under bomba regulation, correct me if I'm wrong, you're an architect, so you probably know better than me than this. But I do know that there is an automated system to actually push notification to bomba when it is triggered. But the challenging, actually, coming back to this about this emergency response, right? Bomba one is considered one of the more matured one because usually people won't press that a lot. But you realize in parking, right, there's a lot of emergency buttons. Let's say, either you got harassed in the parking or things like that could happen, right? Because parking could be a very dangerous place as well because there's just cars around and not many people. So the emergency response for parking is also something we have to really carefully monitor. So when you push that button, the moment, how fast can the nearest security come to address you? And also immediately the CCTV nearby the area will immediately point to you, right? And then see what's going on, right? Why are you pressing that button, right? Is there any urgent situation that needs to be resolved, right? So those are the things that actually happens within a smart building context.
Okay.
Right. So that's why coming back to security is actually a big thing. It's not it involves parking, it involves managing the whole flow of people and all these things. So it sometimes get very, very detailed, but just wanted to get one coverage is that actually facility management with digital twin is actually very efficient. So long the system is in place.
I see.
It makes total sense.
So that's a part of the smart buildings that we talk about now.
Correct.
Okay. So more security and bomba. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, you see what Mr. Zi Qing already said to us, all of it regarding what he said. Okay. So, without wasting any time, I just want to ask you, for all of your projects, what you're doing right now, okay, your implementation within the technology, AI, and all of the smart building, and you see how you can say about the challenges for yourself. You want to reach until that level of smart building within from start. Is it start from BIM or how can you say about that?
Wow, to start, your bosses need to approve your investment. It's not going to be a small investment to say, but I think we like to do. We really like to prove that this is a worthwhile investment. That's why I talk about why all this where these benefits will come from. Right, it's actually coming from the long-term OPEX costs that you would have, right? You have less manpower that's running the same complex township, right? You will be more efficient in doing things, right? Eventually, I think that's the general direction forward. So if the investment, a capex commitment is there, then I think the next thing is really to enforce your project to be done in certain ways, like having BIM, right? BIM will be a good start. Not just BIM, I would say that the information must be kept properly in systems, right? Because again, back to the same equation of I need to know what I buy, I need to know what I install at site. All these supplier came from where, you know, and all these tools are, what tools are there, what are the equipments are there, right? And also how much power do they consume. Then it's also about investing into IO devices, right? IoT devices to be installed, sensors to be installed, right? As we all talked about just now, aircon, right? If you don't have the sensors in the room, how would you be able to even tell whether the room is too cold, right? So then all this investment has to come in and then plan in the project before you construct it, right? Then of course during the construction, you will have all these documents ready in, let's say, Autodesk Construction Cloud or any CDE system, where we'll be able to get all this information very quickly and put it and publish it into a facility management platform, right? Be it any facility management platform or a digital twin solution. Then only the whole things will come and condensate into the useful product that we all wanted to envision, that we all talked about just now. So the whole effort is a lot more. That's why, again, same thing, when it comes to digital twin implementation, it's about upfronting all these problems to the front. Again, you have to crack my head, you know, all these things. I have to do system integration at the very early stage and all these things.
Now, how can you crack your head, man? It's your passion doing the coding.
So we crack the head, so we crack it, and if it works, then it cracks.
Crack the head, crack the code, you know?
Correct. But the whole idea here is, BIM is one of the essential tools for this to happen. And as an industry player, I really wish BIM could be more appreciated, not just on the coordinated side. That's why I'm excited about sharing this other part of BIM that excites me in the future.
So BIM is one of the initial things that peoples need to be start.
Correct. Not just for coordination. Yes.
Not just only for coordination, right? We want to reach until the level of smart building. Yes, need to start on BIM.
Yes, BIM and all the info.
All of the info.
The
and
LOI,
in the middle, you can see there is a guy called AI there.
And AI could help.
Help you until the smart buildings.
Yes.
Right, let's see everyone to see how the process will be implemented in the future. Okay, so regarding about the future, so what you can say, hopefully, you're hopeful to everyone outside there seeing it.
Well, I think Malaysia is actually at a very blessed position. I mean, as a Malaysian, I personally am very grateful because while the rest of the world are in a mess at the moment, I must say Malaysia, number one, we are a peaceful country. Number two, we are actually having a lot of digital investment. You know, like data centers coming in. There's so much, and in fact, this also brings a lot of FDI to Malaysia, and hence giving us a lot of opportunity to explore a lot of things. And Malaysian talents are also doing very well, I must say. With our trainings from the college.
Feel proud, everyone. Feel proud.
So, and I mean, I don't want to say this, but we are relatively cheaper compared to, right? So everyone loves to work with Malaysia. So that's what that's why we are more experimental. That we can afford to do a little bit more experiments when it comes to trying out new technology. And then I think at this juncture, it's actually exciting enough for us to move on. Because of all this FDI and all the extra capacity that we have. But the only thing is to grab it now. If not, then you miss the boat.
You hear that? Grab it now or miss the boat. Miss the boat, right? Or else if you miss it, you need to swim, you know. You need to catch the boat.
Straight across the Straits of Malacca, right?
It will take a lot of effort to swim. You just jump on the boat. When we go right, just jump on the boat. So that's the analogy.
Plan for, but it's I think the talents are there, the industry knowledge is catching up. We also have good neighbors that we can refer to. I think Singapore have some standards that we learn from. Europeans, China, there are also technology providers that are very strong that can support us along the journey.
That's why there's some kind of so-called mentors so that we can go in much more further.
Partners, there are partners that we can leverage. Although there's like everyone else, there are good partners that we can trust to learn a lot more faster.
That's the thing. So basically, for all of what we have talked about, we already reached at the end of the session. Okay, so what we can conclude from here, Zi Qing, what you can say, the first thing first, what we can conclude regarding of BIM. So most of the construction players should implement BIM.
I think you should, unless you are talking about really simple projects. Like I think there's no value in coordination and there's no value in effort. But otherwise, as I said, a lot of projects now are very complex. Regulation can become more complex. I think let's just pick it up and move on with better technology. Well, the last thing you want is to have young people coming to a company and say, this is not the company I want to work with, right? Because you just don't use any digital tool, right? So I think that's something Malaysians should really make sure. So I strongly encourage all the construction players, not just construction players, be consultants, contractors, right? Even owners, right? We must take the opportunity. Yeah, we must take the opportunity.
To you all, by the way.
Correct. That's why the angle should be, we all should embrace BIM at a certain point in most projects.
Yeah, it's like when we, like for the some kind of the story, the old style hand drawing, right? And then after that we have a CAD, and then now it's time. Do not miss the boat.
Be inspiring, be inspiring.
Do not miss the boat, everyone. Okay, for the second one, what we can say about what we have talked today again? AI, right? So AI will help you in construction. Right? So we already have an example over here. You can already implement it within the projects. Right?
Yep. With the right tool, you get it automatically implemented.
Automatically.
You don't have to worry about building your own AI, so that's good.
Without building your own AI, it's a time saving. Time saving. So, another one. Okay, conclude. Smart buildings over here. Smart buildings, right? So all of this from BIM and AI moving forward to the smart building, and then how we manage the facility, which is the facility management, right? So all of what we talk about, at the end of the day, people will see on how we manage the facility. Is it efficient or not? Is it other than efficient, what we can say?
Can you cut down the overall OPEX, which is what the bosses most worried about, right? Because ultimately you want CAPEX, but you don't want OPEX, right? So you wanted to cut down your OPEX, operating expenses.
And this one goes to the owner.
Yeah, this one goes to everyone bonuses, right? Why not, right?
Everyone goes to the owner, right? Or the owner can see how my employees take care of my buildings. Is it okay or not? Or how blah blah blah. All of things much more easy.
Yeah, but overall it's sustainability, right? We talk about business sustainability. We also talk about green, as in making sure whatever development is responsible, right? So I think that's why I say it's contributing towards sustainable operation of the building and the soundscape eventually.
Understood. Yeah. Talking about sustainability, right? So just give me a few words about it.
Okay.
Wait for it. Right?
Okay.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Sustainability is our next topic. All right. Do not be shocked. Sustainability, right? You will wait. Who will be our next guest? Okay. Episode 04. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.